Welcome back to some more War on the Sea. I did a check and I made sure that all the sound and microphone and my voice and everything is being recorded. Yeah, please, if there is a problem, leave a comment and tell me. I want to try to avoid what happened earlier today from happening again. Hopefully, I've solved that issue. So, we're just going to go right into it. Let's just see what we got planned for us for today. I do want to get Palembang covered again. We have a Palembang Defense Force. Let's take a look. Don't think so. We got that. Okay, so what do we do? I think we want to move you guys down. Get you out of harm's way for now, and come down here and sit. So let's do that. I'm just gonna have you guys sit right there. It's probably gonna cause Singapore to start attacking us again, and Kuala Lumpur. But I'd rather have that happen than have them send in some supply ships over here. Oh, what am I doing? No. How come I didn't see that? Alright, we're just gonna have you do a little scouty in this area. And I want you to put up a scout. We're gonna manually do it so it comes back every day. And 502 is our distance, so let's go. That's not a thing. Alright, let's try again. You do that. Let's have another one go south. And we're going to send you this way. Just take in consideration the route of the ship. See, if we just went further down straight, we'd have an issue because I put this ship group on a pattern. So from here to here, which means whatever this guy's doing, he's going to extend even further. So we don't want him approaching this. And here's the extent. So from here to here, that distance added on to this guy. So like here, which is fine, as long as we're not encroaching Manila. So we'll have them do that, and that should be fine. What else we got going on? Lex Hornet, Manila Defense. I think we're going to move you closer to this here. So let's move you over. Have you do something like this. And we're going to have you guys do the same. So from here to here is quite a distance. So if I launch off for you, we'll go short. So we will go something like this. So this area, imagine this square, a rectangle if you will, right here. And that's about as far, because if we go to the ship And we see the ship is going to be over this way, so it'll even be over here maybe. We might be a little bit too high there. Let's change that course. So let's just do something like this. So that way when, look at the distance from the ship. So it moves about that far away represented. And this, so he'll be a little bit further. So we go from where the ship's furthest line would be, and we say that much more. So let's go back to the ship, and we see from the furthest side, and he goes about that far. So he'll be patrolling this area, which keeps him safe. That's good. So let's put up another one in a different position. We want you to be within that circle there. So we're going to have you course this way and up 502. Close enough. So that's the north. Then we have the west. And let's do one on the side. So from here we can go straight north this way, 502. Close enough. So let's see what that looks like over time. This guy's kind of doing the same thing. It's important to have these eyes out so that we can see exactly what is happening. Try and get the same thing going here. No. Launch. Darn it. Did I get that? No, I didn't. Darn it. Okay, alright. Stop hitting buttons. Hit that button instead of this button. So let's go north with this guy. Out, up, over. And let's go east with one. So let's do something like we did on the other one. Yeah. And they should follow us as we move. So hopefully that's the case. Let's see what kind of spacing we got here. 1, 2, 3. These are our guys. Plus all these other ones, but yeah. And as we move and these guys run out of fuel, they come back to our ship and should launch again. So let's see. I think this is the first guy. No, this one. This one. So they all basically land quick and rearm. And then they go and launch again. And they should be going to new... I think this is the guy. Yeah. I think we have good coverage. Not stressing it. Saipan, what are you doing? You are unloading. Alright, so we're getting close to where we want to be for invasion. But if we go to Saipan and we look at Saipan and we say, do we want to click that? No, because 3,000 brings us down to 16,084, and then we'd be too many troops. So let's just sit on that for a while. Saipan, you can go back to really need to get supplies. There's none there. There's none there. And we're waiting to be rearmed. Let's go sit at Wake. You're coming in to drop off. What are you doing? You're going out. Okay. Let those guys do that. Some of the game really is a lot of this piddly, what's up, Towie Towie? What are we doing with you, my friend? You seem to be fully armed for everything. I don't like the selection of aircraft here. Just not pleased with it. Cebu, you need stuff back, I think. Let's go back up there. You know, we wanted to go to Towie Towie. I guess we could go over there and take a look and see what it has on it. And put on some troops, look at what type of, how bad it is. Yeah, we're not even here at all. 11. Oh, we'll take a look and see what happens when we get there, if I can remember. 4C is coming in to get rearmed and then probably go back to Midway for release and repair on these guys. We can't have damaged ships floating around, wait for them to sink. If they got severely damaged, they would be sent back to port. They would be recalled and something else would be sent out in its place. I don't think that's overdoing it. I think that's pretty safe. We're going to put all 4 of you guys up with depth charges like we've been doing before in the past, and CV Essex Intrepid. See how these two guys, Midway is landing as this one is coming back to Midway. So we're going to have you sit here. You're going to unload. So the answer is, do we move you up or do we just have you sit? And I think the answer is to have you sit. We'll have you go south right here. So you're out of the way. Excuse me. You got to forgive me. This is actually like my 3rd video today. I apologize for the one earlier. I had to overdub. But these things happen. So at nighttime, you can really see who's covered, who's not covered. I think I want to do something else with you. And I think the answer is I want you to be here at Palembang. Or I'm just going to leave you. Let's just put you there. I know this kind of causes a problem, but it just seems silly to leave these guys open. We need to think about sending you back to get your ships or your aircraft back as well. That might be an option to do. Actually, let's look and see who else is rough. These guys got some damage too. Maybe we want to think about sending you guys back with the Palembang carrier to get repaired. If we did that, we would send you, and you. So we have you guys split off. Yeah, let's do that now. It doesn't hurt. We'll course you over and have you wait here for the carrier. And put you in the middle. So you guys head that way. And whatever we got over here, you're gonna go back because I need you to be at full force. Half your aircraft basically is not doing anybody any good. So we're gonna send you. So let's split you off. Langley is gonna course here. And when he arrives, they'll merge, and Palembang, you're gonna go and sit there. And you should be able to defend yourself properly. And looking around, let's see what we got over here. What's up midway? You guys are empty, right? So we're going to move you in a holding pattern position, just like here. This guy's coming in to... Just got to remember to start checking these, especially when they come back here. Nobody's damaged. And what do you got over here for anybody? Nothing. So you're going to course over here. Go back to those, the clock, 12, 3, 6, 9, which are waiting patterns, is what I would think. Supply Polu. And you are picking up fuel, right? Yeah. Got anything else we can take off of you that would be okay? So if we took off 300, let's take little troops. Boom and boom. And we're still good. Got any other room for anything else? And Peleliu it is. So let's course you right back here. And you're coming in to do the same. See if you can get some kind of engineering we got on this. Yeah, no engineering, but we got fuel for you. So you can do that. And you are coming in to do the same, right? At least fuel. And then over at truck, yeah, you're broken. We can stop taking troops from certain places, and then once they get here, we'll send them back to Wake in a waiting pattern until we get rearmed. Kingfisher way up here. So we have aircraft coming in. That's the key to say, let's put up our cap. And you are CV Lex. You do that in perpetuity. Let's see what we got over here. Is it a... There's no way they would see us. See if we see any ships or anything. Yeah, in this weather, there's not a chance. Okay, so there's 3 planes there. They're coming after us. We're not going to let them, though, because I don't believe in it. And these are land-based fighters. And they are... turning away from us, I think. Oh, there's some right above us, too. What are these guys doing? Yeah, there's no way they would see us. We're right down here somewhere. Yeah, they're there. So we're heading 100, no, 089, right? So let's see if we can do this. 089. Is there like down there? Can we visually spot him? No, I can't even see him. So yeah, there's nothing out here, and these are land. Oh, of course they can see us, right? Yeah, suck it. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it for any of that. All right, Liberator with 4 bombs. We're not going tactical here. Crashes the game. Let's begin here and see what we got. And, okay, well, we can't do much about that. What do we want to go for? So I think the middle guy is the one we probably should attack. I think this guy's troops, this guy's more troops and supplies. This guy's just supplies. Let's drop bombs on number 2. I want to see if I can drop 1 bomb. Let's see if it will let me do that. So, to do that, I think you open up the bomb bay. Let's run in ourselves. I'm just going to hit the trigger once and see. This is an all drop button. This is a single drop button. Let's see if we can do a single drop button on this guy. So again, we want to hit right there. You remember, do this one. So if I can successfully do this, and we're going to slow down. If I can successfully do this, I may be able to hit more than 1 ship with this load. Just remember this button, 1 click, that's all. Just don't shoot me down, that would be silly. No. No, that doesn't do it. Well, let's see if we hit him at least. Pitiful. Pitiful. Minor damage, splash damage only. So, that didn't do us any good. So this guy here, we're not going to worry about. Let's see what else we got we can send. Let's send you guys to here, right? Yeah. And we're going to send you there and see if we can still find him. I'm going to let it go and see if we can find him. But this is pretty much the spot where we saw him. He's either coming, he's coming this way. He's probably heading south. If he is heading south, let's use Guam. And what's the distance here? Let's send these guys out, and I'm gonna send him with 4 2,000 pound. No. Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna go this way and north. And then we're gonna go over here and south and in and down and this way, and until we run out of our mileage. So you do that as a screen. Let's see if we find anything. This guy, actually, we can return him to base because he's got no armament. I don't want to send him on that without any bombs. Let's see if we can find him again. There he is. So Catalina's course this way. You ignore that. They're still heading north. These guys are gonna meet him there too. You guys go. You guys go this way as well. Is it me or does these guys seem faster? Which I think they are. Yeah, that'll work. Yep, both groups in. So we're gonna go easy on this one, and I'm gonna say PBYs behave. Form up. Go to the deck. Oh no, you didn't make it in. These guys are probably going to disappear if they can't get in there quick enough. Yeah, if you're outside this circle, you're going to disappear. So you watch how these guys vanish. I don't know if it's a timer. Maybe I should have gone in with the Catalinas. I would have seen him. So they're right over there. I don't want to change their direction at all. I just want to get in that radar circle so that we can attack these guys. And I also don't want to switch to the Liberators because that can make these Catalinas disappear. Let's wait until they're in. Come on. So if we start seeing these guys over here go yellow, that means they fell off the engagement. We don't want that. So that's one group gone. I don't think they're going to make it. They got to get that line. Hurry up. If they're all even, they have a better chance of hitting that line together and not be lost. One of these per ship would be fine. Can't go any faster than 156, so it is what it is, right? Come on, you can do it. I think they're going to disappear. Come on, you're almost there. Get to here, basically. I don't know if it's, I think it's a timer, but I can't be sure. And we should be in there, right? Go disappearing on me. Alright, let's do line ahead. We're going to stagger these guys for gun purposes. And I want to get you guys to go parallel with them. And then we're going to go number 1, which is the lead. Number 2 is this guy. Number 3 is this guy. And you guys are just going to stay overhead. Keep making your turn, but I don't want you guys to... Where are they? Oh, there they are. And we'll clean up if there's any to clean up. We got lucky having just these two, having these in here. Last time I checked Steam, I saw that I had over 400 screenshots of of these guys. So I'm gonna wait until they make the turn and go straight, and then I'll break them off and send them. You can see the distance, so that they can't all be targeted. And they may get shot down, but hey. We want to try these big old torpedoes on them. Let's get ready to do that turn and see they're turning again. So even though we're PBYs, we're faster than them. So about to the end is where we're gonna break them and send them. I really like these guys not to miss. Attacking from different angles because this guy's turning more. This guy's a problem. I'm gonna go manual on this dude because he's being tricky. see how we do. There we go. There we go. How'd you do? Come on. There we go. So we want these guys to form up. That's a good sight, isn't it? Now the big key is what kind of damage did we inflict? We took a little smoke on this guy. So let's take a look and see what the report says. So this guy's probably gonna go. That guy may go. I don't know. Let's take a look and see. Some of these guys are going to blow up, I think. They're not known for their damage control. Speaking of which, one of the things a lot of people may not know when they join the service is, especially the Navy, and I know a little bit about some other groups. You know, I know a little bit about the Air Force, a little bit about Marines. I know a little bit about the Army, but not enough to say my facts are accurate, because, you know, in the Navy, you hang out, you're in the Navy. You don't get stationed very often with other branches of the service. I was at a Marine Corps base for 2 years for shore duty, so I did hang out and experience a lot of them. I also attended a few schools with some Army guys and some Air Force guys, so I got to meet a few and talk to them and see how they did things. If I was to, again, if I was just to blatantly break out first impressions, this is not accurate, this is not everybody, this is just from the experiences I had. I'd have to say Air Force guys are like in a corporate job, seemingly relaxed with what they do. Of course, I only met certain job descriptions in the service of some of these branches. Army guys, they were focus trained, I think, in certain areas, and they were a little bit more relaxed as far as the requirements on them, as far as I know. Of course, they attended classes in schools and, you know, for credentials and things like that, like the Navy does and the Marines do and all the branches do, I think. The Marines are first and foremost Marines, so combat weapons, if you will, and anything after that was secondary. So they didn't necessarily dwell upon make sure those liberators aren't drifting off into La La Land. There were certain things that they what's a good way to say this? I don't know if there's a good way. Who are we shooting at? My Catalinas are being silly. You gotta go away. What I can say specifically about is in the Navy, we have, if you go to the basics, you say there are sailors, there are aviation ratings, there's ship ratings, and there are some areas of the service very small that are combat. But in the service, in the Navy, you have to be trained, especially aboard a ship, to do certain things that maybe you wouldn't think you would have to do. Like, you join the service, you don't know that every job and every function of a ship has to be maintained by the crew. So you have cooks, and you have barbers, and you have people that clean and laundry and wash dishes, and there are cleaning crews where people have to clean and wax decks and all this, clean heads, and these are all things that if you don't do, you basically live in a prison, and your job, your life is going to be miserable. So there has to be respect earned about the job that you do in the Navy, and with all the branches, I'm sure, but there are certain things that people don't talk about, and it's like on a ship, everyone has to be damage control qualified. And apart from your job, you have to be qualified to be a fireman, basically, or a medic, or assist with medic, or triage. So at some time in your career in the service, whether it be 2 years, 4 years, or 20 years, like I did, you have to know how to, enter a room that's on fire. You have to know how to handle a fire hose. It's not just watering your lawn. There's a science to it. There are certain types of fire equipment that you can't just pick up like a flashlight and it be okay and you know what the hell you're doing. Infrared sensors, chemical breathing devices, how to deal with walking into a completely black, filled with smoke place and not panic. So if you have a fireman in your family and you don't have the utmost respect for them, you should probably talk to them about their job and find out exactly what it's like, because those guys are heroes, where they put themselves in harm's way all the time. Well, sailors have to be trained to do the same. And that's one of the things people don't think about. I'm just going to be, waving my arms, basically. A civilian looks at a guy on the flight deck around all these jets and things, and they think, well, he's just waving his arms. I can do that. That's awesome. Well, that's probably 10% of what their training is. There are a lot of other things that you have to train and do, qualifications that are mandatory. If you want to excel, you have to do other jobs that you may not think are necessary. So one of the ships is sunk. We're waiting to see if probably this one, or no, this one? No, this one. This one looks like it's going to go down next. And then it will be 2 B-24s against this last guy. See if we can speed it up a bit. I want to make sure he doesn't leave. So, when people think about joining the service, I'm talking to you young guys, if there are anybody out there watching, know that any branch of the service that you join, there's going to be other things required of you than what you may think you're required to do. And it's kind of important to know that that's a thing. And it's not just, people say they want to be a Marine because they want to be a soldier, they want to shoot and kill and, do all that kind of stuff. Well, that's a particular kind of person that's capable of doing that. Not everybody can handle that. And if you can't handle that, you probably shouldn't think about joining the Marines. And you won't know until you're trained. So that's just a thing that you need to understand about the service. It's a different thing to be in it. All right, liberators, let's do your business here. Let's have you guys head this way. I'm gonna have you guys drop down. So I want you to be side by side, line abreast, form up. Let's get down a little bit. I want you to slow down. We're gonna spread you out even further. And we're gonna break you. And number 1, I want you to bomb this guy. Number 2, I want you to bomb this guy. And we're gonna let them just do their thing. And if they can do their thing, great. If they can't, well, they fail miserably. And we move on. Another thing in the service that people may not realize is that the competition is not just time served. It's actually how you perform. And if you do not perform to the standards of another person, another man, telling you what the standards are, you may not get what you think out of it. You know, the choir boy does not win. You know, there is a cutthroat type of thing that's involved in being in the service. It's not all red, white, and blue and flags and stuff. There are some things that if you can't handle, you know, I'm not trying to tell you my whole story, but basically, if you work for the team and only for the team and not think about yourself every once in a while, you'll miss out. So there were many times I did for the team and it sacrificed my own career. Advancement is not based on how well of a team player you are. There is a lot to that. You have to be a team player, but you also have to be a little self-centered and sacrifice to get ahead. And I was never that kind of guy, so. I always seem to like to help out my shipmates. If they had questions, you know, I was always an older guy in most cases. Let's see if we hit over here on this guy. Come on, let's get a hit, boys. Should be a hit. Should be enough of a hit, at least. So this guy is stationary, so I'm gonna cease. We're gonna do it ourselves because I want to double tap on this dude. I don't want to and that'll do, Gopher. Yeah, that's how we get rid of them. Well done. All right, so that's how we get rid of them. That's a long talk. Yeah, I guess when I get, what do I say, nostalgic? I'm going to return these guys even though they have 3 torpedoes. And let's get rid of this. And Liberators, are you coming home? Yeah. Okay. Moving on. I guarantee in other branches of the service, they have all sorts of requirements for them as well. Many of them are probably, like as a Marine, I know some guys that was like, we couldn't get to the work to repair aircraft because we had physical requirement job things that we had to do. In other words, rifle training and running as in formation, all sorts of stuff like that, which is great. That's all physical stuff, right? But when it comes to, for example, I was in Iraq with a EA-6B, which is a Prowler aircraft, electronic jamming. You may have seen them. They got 4 crew members. They sit side by side in the front and side by side in the back. Dual canopies with pods hanging off the sides of the wings, or below the wings. And each one of those pods has an electronic jamming thing that can do some stuff. You'd be surprised. Detecting IEDs and jamming signals so they can't be used. Very successful at doing that. So where I was at El Asad Air Base, there was a Marine Corps group there as well, and they have Prowlers. So we had our 3 Prowlers. They had, I don't know how many they had, doesn't matter, but they couldn't fly them. They were always broken, always down. Down aircraft don't go up in the air and do a mission, right? And for whatever reason, it was just a fact. It was just a thing that it was a thing. And I remember being there, and we have guys that work on these aircraft, and they had to go over and assist those squadrons because they couldn't figure out what the problem was with their aircraft. Now, there's a lot of pride involved in that, okay? If somebody is doing your work for you because you don't know, you're glad you got the aircraft fixed and ready to fly. But if your training is substandard and you can't maintain the aircraft to keep them in the mission fight, there's a problem there. And that was a thing. So, that's just a small example, but there are things like that where I was proud to be in the Navy. I don't think I had the guts or the nerve or the physical abilities to be able to be in the Marines, or the mentality to be in the Army. The Air Force was my first choice. I tell the story to people. 10 days after my father passed away, I went and joined the service at age 24, or 23, I think it was. But at 24, I went active duty. And it hit me hard. My mom sold her house and moved to a different state with my little sister, and I wound up joining. I always wanted to. Right out of high school, my father said, "No, don't. You guys need to go to college," and college wasn't for me. But I listened to him, and I did what he wanted me to do, and wasn't happy. But when he passed, I just decided, hey, I gotta live my life, and I gotta do my own thing. So, yeah, 10 days after my father passed away, I went down to the recruiting office, and I was only intending to sign up for 2 years, and that 2 years turned into 20 years. But I went down to the Air Force recruiting office, but they were on lunch break. The door was closed, and there was nobody there. And if you walk to the end of a hallway, and there's a door there, you said United States Air Force on it, Recruiting Center. And right next to that door was an open door, and that was the U.S. Navy recruiting office. And I always liked the Navy. I always thought Navy, maybe I watched Top Gun and I thought that was cool or something. I don't know. But I always liked the Navy. I thought the Navy was cool. I liked old Navy war movies and, stuff like that. Wasn't having any idea of being any kind of glory, whatever. I just thought being at sea was kind of cool. So I figured, actually, they called me. They said, "Hey, who are you looking for?" And they seemed kind of cool and nice guys or whatever. So I said, "Yeah, I was just looking to, inquire about signing up." And he goes, "Well, you can come in and have a seat if you want and wait." Well, that wait turned into, why the Air Force? Well, my dad was in the Air Force and in the 60s, and, maybe for him that would be a good thing to do. And they basically talked me out of it. And I wind up signing up to take the exam, and they call it the ASVAB. It's basically a general knowledge test, maybe 250 questions or something like that. I don't recall. And it sees what your base education and, can you be a mechanic? Are you good with numbers? Are you good with memorization, clerical? Are you, we need to find a job for you, and there's so many jobs in the service. Some have benefits where they give you a signing bonus, could be $20,000. Some have no bonus. Some you can sign up for the bare bones tour 2 years. Back when I joined, there was an option. It was called 2YO, and 2YO means you sign up for 2, and you can determine whether or not you want to stay in or if you want to get out. And part of the thing of joining the service was the GI Bill, Montgomery GI Bill. And the Montgomery GI Bill basically gives you enough maybe for, you put in $100, I think is what it was, every month out of your paycheck for the first year. And at the end, you qualify for the Montgomery GI Bill. So you pay, at that time, you had to pay in, $1,200, and you got basically 4 years paid worth of college money. Now that money could be used after if you didn't go to college, but if you wanted to go to college when you got out, you could use that, and you just sign over your tuition to the Montgomery GI Bill, and they pay the bill. That's how that works. And a lot of people join the service just for that. But I found that so when I signed up for no job. I signed up for 2 years. 2YO means you go in as a basic swabby. Now there's 3 different categories to go into. Seaman, which is a ship's company type of thing where you'd be painting and busting rust and doing all the menial labor stuff on the ship, which I think should be a mandatory thing in the United States. Everyone out of high school should probably spend 2 years in mandatory service in one of the branches, if not the Coast Guard, something, maybe even taking care of parks in the country or something. I think it will help people grow up a little bit from college or from high school. I found even myself, when I went to college, I wasn't mature enough. I thought college was going to get laid and drink and party, and college would be a breeze. And again, I didn't want to go to college, so I wasn't there to work at it. But so if you don't have the mentality, maybe the service is a good thing to do. But what I found is the experience of boot camp and going to my first command. I remember I was assigned to a training command at VAQ 129 in Whidbey Island, Washington State. And I was bored off my ass. I was only to be signed there for, I think it was a month. But there was no end date. They said, "Oh, it's only a couple weeks, you'll be fine, and then we'll send you off to your future command." And my future command was going to be VAQ 130. it was a prowler squadron stationed on that base. So there's a training command, and the training command is where they train pilots and ECMOs, and you basically work for them. So what you did at that squadron was you stood watches, 6 to 8 hour watches. Maybe they were 4-hour watches, I don't recall. But they had rotating schedules, so you could be standing out in the flight line, basically on a runway, walking around airplanes with a bully club and your pea coat and a SP badge on your arm and a white, we called them booger belts, but it always just blew my mind. It's like, you're sending me out here with a club, not a radio. Later we got radios for that job, but I remember when I first stood watch, I was like, the training was zero. It was kind of just like a placement for a body, and I was really eager to get to my next command. So the emotions you have when you join the service and you go through boot camp and you get to your first command is kind of like you're getting ready for a football game. I played football in high school and lacrosse, so I was kind of an athlete anyway. And I played lacrosse in college as well. But when you get up for the game and the game doesn't come and they put you on a watch where you're standing in freezing cold and rain, and you're just standing there and you're saying, what's the purpose of this? Your reality kicks in and you start saying, well, this isn't in any movies I saw. Or I want to get on a ship. I want to go on a ship where it really sucks. Or I want to go somewhere and do something and make it worth the time I'm putting into this effort. And when you first join, that's what you think. Because you think it's going to be one thing and it turns into something different. It gradually changes again. But I remember being so eager to get to that position in my first actual seagoing command. Again, I didn't have a job. My first job when I finally got to that command, which is, let's say, 5.5 weeks, they were getting ready to deploy on the John F. Kennedy squadron. Our squadron was part of the CAG on that ship. And I was designated to be a plane captain. Plane captain's the guy that services the aircraft with the basics. Doesn't fix anything, just services it. So tops off the oils and the hydraulic fluids, and after that, it's washing the plane. So you just basically a car wash with occasional check the oil and clean the canopy. So there's a lot of hard, drudgerous work where there's training involved, but it's not, anybody can do it. Anybody really can do it. If you could work hard and be okay with that, that's what your first couple of years in the service will be. You're not going to be doing anything exciting. You might think it's pretty exciting, but in reality, at first it is, and then it gets really, really rough. And you have to grow with it or you break. And I saw a lot of guys, a lot of young kids. I say young kids, 18, 19 years old. Again, I'm 5 or 6 years older than all these other guys when I'm there. So a lot of these guys would look to me and ask me, I'd have to build them up like I was captain of the football team or some stupid like that. And then you got the guys that are non-adults basically, and they think, to be macho about, the hell with that, I don't want to do it. It's like you don't get those choices anymore when you join the service. I tell the story about when I was much senior in the service, and I was in charge of a damage control team. It was about 60 guys, and during damage control drills, you have probably 4 times a week. We go through different drills, like CBR drills, chemical and biological warfare drills where you don a gas mask and it stays on your head for 8 hours, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. You don't know how long, but it's a requirement you maintain that posture. So this one young kid, had a little mouth on him, and he decided he didn't want to participate anymore. You don't get that choice. If you think in battle or an actual attack and you're going to become a casualty because you decide to take off your gas mask, you're taking 2 or 3 other guys away and risking their lives to save you, where you could just keep the mask on. I don't know if you've ever had any type of breathing apparatus on like that, but sweat builds up. It's really irritating on your face. In slow, deep breaths, it's okay. You can just breathe. But it's not a comfortable situation. People make it look like it's comfortable, but it's not. And, people's faces break out in rashes and stuff like that. Some people get claustrophobic putting a mask on their face. But this kid wasn't having any of it. And I decided now is the time to be the big angry brother. And I chewed his ass pretty hard. And I cursed at him a couple times. And finally he put his mask back on and he got into his position where he was supposed to be. And it was needed. Sometimes young kids, or kids that haven't fully grown up to their age, they remember during the service if they're pushed in the right direction. And the funny thing about it was that standing right behind me was the XO of the ship, the commander. And I didn't know he was there. And of course, you're not supposed to I verbally abused the kid. Let's just be clear. I got into him pretty hard. And the thing with that was, he came up behind me, put his arm over my shoulder, turned me in a kind of a walk with me kind of way, with his hand on my shoulder. He wasn't squeezing my shoulder, but he was there, and I knew he was like, hey, I gotta talk to you now. And he basically told me, he goes, I understand why you did that. I kind of agree that it needed to be addressed, but don't let me ever catch you do that again. And that was kind of like it could have gotten worse. Depending on the person, the officer, I could have probably gone to captain's mast for abuse. It really wasn't abuse. It was like towing the line, getting somebody to stay on mark, But for this guy, he dealt with it in a way, and I was like, yes, sir. And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. But yeah, I remembered that, and I remembered, I have to treat people differently, and, you don't want to say you have to coddle people because they're adults and they're in the service that they volunteered for. But there are times when, yeah, you have to do that. So, okay, story time's over. Enough of that. I didn't really want to go on that banter like that. I hope it was entertaining. But here we are, 5 o'clock in the morning on this 441 day of this great game we're playing. Not a lot happened. We had a little bit happen, not a lot. But we're going to end this one here. And hopefully the mic works. If it didn't, I'll probably not talk over another video, figure out what the problem is, and carry on. But we will see you in the next video. Thanks for hearing me out and hearing all my stories. When you're in the service for so long, like I was, 20 years, it becomes part of you. It's not a part you can let go. It's a part that stays. It's not a bragging thing. It's kind of like, if you had a dad that woke up every morning at the same time every day without an alarm clock, there's a reason why It's because they worked a job that they had to be up and ready, and they were responsible. And then after they retired and stopped working that job, they still woke up at the same time every day. So it's kind of like that. Once in the service, you're always in the service, and you can't let that part of you go. So if any of you have been in the service, I'd like to thank you for your service. I'm not saying that to get anybody to say it back to me, because I don't like it when people do that. I feel that I just did what my job was, and I didn't do anything special. There are many other people that participated in the armed forces that did things far more special than I, and those people, I think, need to be congratulated for their service. I just volunteered. So, but with that, I will say thanks for listening to me talk through all this, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. See you next time.